Hello and welcome to this lesson, and today we are going to be talking about short multiplication. So firstly, what is short multiplication? Well, it's when we are expected to multiply a two-digit number by a one-digit number. And you can see there's an example on the screen right there. So let's talk about how we solve this. If we're quite new to this, if we're quite unfamiliar with this, please do not worry. With enough practice, it will become pretty straightforward pretty quickly, but you must focus, okay? So our first question is 24 multiplied by 8. So I'm going to talk through a couple of examples, and then you're going to have your own questions to answer, okay? So 24 multiplied by 8. Now the way that I want to set this out is I'm going to write the larger number, so in this case 24, into separate columns. Now they don't look like columns at the moment because I've only written one number, but if you can imagine, we've got columns of our tens digits here, so our two tens for 20, and we've got our ones digit here, our 4, okay? Now we are going to multiply 24 by 8, so 8, the smaller number in this case, where would it go? Well, we've only got the one digit, so the one place value, the ones, so it goes in the ones column, and it is important to make sure that they're lined up correctly. So do make sure that when inserting the numbers into the column method, you do make sure that you put the numbers into its correct place value column. Okay, so I'm going to write my little multiplication symbol, and finally the line below which we'll write our solution. Okay, so how do we solve this? Now the first thing we do is we go to our ones. So it's an 8 in this case, 8 ones, and we're going to multiply it by the ones directly above it. Okay, so we're going to do 8 multiplied by 4. So 8 times 4. What is 8 times 4? Now, if you know how to do 8 times 4 very quickly in your head, brilliant. If you don't, then you need to do your 8 times tables very carefully. Or in this case, because it's multiplication, we can do it the other way around, can't we? So 4 times 8. If you're more comfortable with your 4 times tables, then do 4 times 8 rather than 8 times 4. You're going to get the same answer, but in any case, do make sure you're comfortable with all multiplications, okay? And you can only become comfortable with all multiplications if you practice regularly. Okay, so 8 multiplied by 4, so 8, 16, 24, 32. 8 multiplied by 4 is 32. That's 2 ones and 3 tens I'm going to carry over. Okay. All right, now we're going to do 8 multiplied by 2. 8 multiplied by 2, or 8 multiplied by 20 because it's 2 tens. But we can say 8 multiplied by 2 to make things a little bit easier for us to understand, okay? So 8 multiplied by 2 is 16. Add the 3 that we carried over is 19, okay? So we put our second digit here. Now our first digit from 19, number 1, we'd carry it over, but because there's no more maths to do, because I've multiplied the 8 by the 4 and by the 2, I'm just going to bring it straight down, and I'm left with my answer. My answer is 192. Okay, right, let's do another one. So this time we are multiplying 35 by 9, okay? So once again, I'm going to write 35 out. This time I'm not going to bother with the tens and the ones. I'm not going to write them at the top because I've done it already and we know what it is we're talking about with our place value now, okay? We don't need to waste time doing that when working these questions out, but do use it if it helps you, okay? So 35 multiplied by 9. Okay, there's my multiplication symbol. And do remember that the larger number we're multiplying goes at the top, okay? So 35 multiplied by 9. Let's start by multiplying our 9 by 5. So 9 multiplied by 5. So 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. 9 multiplied by 5 gives me 45. So the second digit of 45, the 5, goes underneath. And the first digit, the 4, gets carried over to the next column. Okay, and then we're going to do 9 multiplied by 3. So 9 multiplied by 3, which gives me 27. And then remember, we carried 4 over, so 27 plus the 4 that we carried over to the tens column. So 27 plus 4 gives me 31. So again, the second digit goes underneath. and I'd carry the first digit over, but we've got no more maths to do, so let's bring it straight down. And there's our answer, 315. Okay, so with multiplication, it can be presented in more than one way. It can be presented in many ways, but for this video, I'm going to show you two ways. We've got this straightforward way of literally being given two numbers to multiply together, but we might also be asked a word problem such as the one you can see on the screen. So let's have a look at the word problem, let's talk about it, and let's solve it. So 6 classes from Parkwood Primary School visit a museum. Each class has 28 pupils. How many pupils from Parkwood Primary School visited the museum altogether? So let's really think about what the question's asking. Okay, so if you're new to this sort of question, short multiplication, then don't worry. I know that you might hear a lot about being as quick as you can, and of course, as we're preparing for the 11+ exam, speed is a factor. But if you're new to this, forget speed for a second and rely on accuracy. Make sure we know what it is that we need to be doing. So what is the question that we're being asked here? Now, we're being told that there are 6 classes and each class has 28 pupils. Okay, so look at it like this. We've got 28 pupils in one class, 28 in another class, 28 in a third class, 28 in the fourth class, 28 in the fifth class. I'm going to run out of room, so I'll do it down here. 28 in the sixth class. I've got 6 lots of 28. Now, throughout year 3 and 4, you should have been told at school lots of different synonyms for multiplication. Lots of is one of the most common, yeah? 28 lots of 6. 6 lots of 28, I should say, okay? Doesn't really matter, but in this context, we've got 6 lots of 28 pupils, haven't we? Okay. Now that synonym, lots of, is synonymous with multiplication. When we hear lots of, we're talking about multiplying. Okay. So our question becomes 28 multiplied by 6. And once we've got the question, everything else that we've spoken about today remains the same. Remains completely identical to the other questions. We're just going to go ahead and do 28 multiplied by 6. Okay. So let's start off by multiplying 6 by 8. So 6 multiplied by 8. Okay, so 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. 6 times 8 is 48. So the second digit goes underneath and the first digit gets carried over. And then we do 6 multiplied by 2, which is 12. Add the 4 that we carried over. So 12 plus 4 is 16. So 6 goes underneath. I'd carry the 1 over usually, but we've done the maths, so let's bring it straight down. And we've got the answer, 168. Okay, right, so now we've spoken about this for quite a while, I've got a challenge for you, which is to pause the video and have a go at these 3 questions that you can see on the screen, okay? You don't have to pause it just yet, I'll let you know when to pause it. Now, as you have a go at these questions, don't worry if you need to go back to earlier in the video and remind yourself of the technique. Don't worry about how long it takes you, okay? The most important thing is that you know the technique and you can answer it accurately, okay? Don't worry about how long it takes you at first, okay? So I'm going to count down from 3. Once I've done that, please pause the video, have a go at these 3 questions, and when you think you've got the answer to all 3 questions, play the video, and then we're going to go through the answers, okay? So 3, 2, 1, pause the video. Okay, so if you're listening to me speak now, it means you've had a go at the 3 questions. So let's go through the answers. And remember, we're allowed to go wrong, okay? We're all human beings. We go wrong sometimes, okay? Do not worry if you've gone wrong. The most important thing you can do is watch the explanations very, 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 very carefully so that next time we have a go at these sorts of questions, we'll get them correct, okay? So the first question is 37 multiplied by 9. So I'm going to create my own column working out over here rather than do it directly on that card because I think I don't have the room. Okay, so 37 multiplied by 9. Okay, so first step is I'm going to do 9 multiplied by 7. I'm going to do it very carefully so that I don't sort of add too many 9s or too few 9s, okay? So very, very carefully using my fingers. So 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 9 7s, is 63, or 7 nines is 63. Doesn't really matter which way round we do it. 9 times 7, 7 times 9 is 63, okay? So the second digit goes underneath. The first digit of 63 goes into the next column. Then we do 9 multiplied by 3, so 9, 18, 27. Add the 6 that we carried over into its column, so 27 plus 6 is 33. Second digit goes underneath. First digit we'd carry over. There's no more maths to do. Let's bring it straight down. We've got the answer 333. So well done if you said that. If you didn't, do not worry. Your biggest aim for this lesson is to figure out where it went wrong. Okay? If you did get it correct, brilliant. Well done. Let's take a look at number 2. So number 2 is 23 multiplied by 5. Okay, so once again, I'm going to set it out using the column method. So 23 multiplied by 5. Okay, 5 multiplied by 3, 5, 10, 15. Second digit underneath, first digit gets carried over. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. Add the one that we carried over is 11. 1 carried over to the next column. There's no more maths to do. Let's bring it down. We've got the answer 115. Okay, so before we go on to the final question, really quickly, if you're finding this tricky, not because of the process itself, like the column method itself, but because you struggle maybe with your times tables, then great. The reason that's great is because you've identified the area that you need to work on. Yeah. So if you know what to do, but you're finding that you're a little bit slower than you'd like, or you're getting the answers wrong because your times tables isn't great, do not worry. You know where you need to practice. Practice your times tables, and I promise you, you will be the master of this in no time. Okay. All right. Final question, number 3, which was our word problem. Mrs. Smith buys 18 packets of pens, and each packet contains 6 pens. So try to picture that in your head. What does that look like? What are you being asked? Well, you're being told that you've got a packet of 6 pens and you've got 18 of them. So you've got 18 lots of 6 pens. And there's that synonym again, lots of, which means to multiply. Okay. So we know that the question is 18 multiplied by 6. Let's solve it. So 6 times 8, remember, we can do 6 times 8 or we can do 8 times 6. It doesn't matter. We're going to get the same answer. So 6 times 8, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. 6 times 8 is 48. So the second digit goes underneath. The first digit gets carried over. Okay, then we've got 6 times 1, which is 6. Add the 4 that we carried over. So 6 plus 4 is 10. 0 goes underneath. 1 gets carried over. We've done our maths. There's nothing left to do. Let's bring the 1 straight down. And we've got the answer 108. And well done if you got that correct. And once again, if you didn't, as long as you're identifying the area where you've gone wrong, that really is the most important thing. Okay, so don't worry if it's gone wrong at all. Do practice. And of course, feel free to go back in the video if you want to see how we solve the questions again. But keep practicing, and I promise you, if you're not already, you'll be amazing at this question type very soon.